Good afternoon, Abbotsford residents. I'm Mr. Pelican. I'm here on Boundary Road, here at the Abbotsford U.S. border. I'm running for your Commander-in-Chief to bring the RCMP into Abbotsford and open the Abbotsford City books. Yesterday I did a video on the organized crime, Paul Wanker and the Abbotsford Police Chief on his hands. Do you see him on his hands at Colin Watts? Did you see Colin Watts at Suk Mangel crawling on his hands, having his hands together like this? This is a plead motion, please, please, please. Suk Mangel knows that the EDA witnessed what Abbotsford police were doing, the threats on my life, and what Henry Brown did. So he's going to stay out of this fight because it'll wreck him. And the train tycoon, Henry Brown, was going to escape the punishment of the law and have his way of stealing out of the city. When Darren Brown showed me that how Henry held control of the majority of city councillors called Abbotsford First ran under Marcus Dalvis, and Dalvis gave Dave Sadu $10,000 to buy the Liberal nomination, it didn't go to the Abbotsford police. It went around them. They figured that all evidence should come to them. Henry had that in his mind, that everything goes to them and we could squash it. When Darren Brown opened the door, being Henry's son, there was no more Abbotsford police were in control of anything, evidence or nothing. You could see officers fleeing everywhere. Well, you can't get rid of me. I'm a sergeant. I'm a double sergeant. I'm a sergeant to a commander that knew a commander. You attacked residents, families, and young kids. You threw people from their trucks. You made false allegations. Oh, the company. Please, the poor company. We're officers of Abbotsford. You saw Colin Watts didn't get on the plane to fly to Ottawa with extortion and all the crying he did. Kelly Greene went at a lap ride with Ross Siemens. There's $500 million in the city coffers. What's a pump, ladies and gentlemen? $50 million? After the first flood, none of these ditches were clean. None of the choke points were clean. The straw, the bales around hay went into the farmers' culverts and plugged, and the water couldn't get to Barrowtown and it couldn't get out. None of this high visibility and common sense was done. We had sand stolen from Barrowtown. We had gravel taken from Barrowtown. We got David Eby on news saying he's taking alcohol off the shelf of America. I'm really hurting Trump, but couldn't order his sand that was stolen in gravel by Jakes, put it here and protect the farmers. Oh, no, we couldn't do that. We couldn't have all the rocks and Gladys that were going to help Ron Funk get the homeless out for sales. I showed you them jobs, and every job I showed you because Henry was using the city to take the land back and then sell it to his friends like he did to Cooper's Farm to Polygon. He was going to do the same to the ag, and I showed you the ag fair. He was going to bankrupt it, then get it. Oh, Abbotsford councillor and Ross made a decision. It's going to Polygon, and we're going to build towers. I showed you the moving of the ag testing center here when Kelly Greene knew that you shouldn't be moving it. We got new pumps, we're cleaning, we're dredging. We're going to get a $500 million job. I showed you that Simon Gibson went in to Ian Black, and he's not supposed to, kicking David Eby in the throat. We're going behind the Conservatives, Eby. Did you see Abbotsford? We're going behind. You're supposed to maintain and do business with both parts of the government. That's why I argue for David Eby and I argue against David Eby, because I argue for my residents. But threats were done. We got to dismantle the Abbotsford police so we get more politicians and more residents standing up. David Eby passed a new budget in the ledge. But we don't got one BC, and we don't got the BC Conservatives that want to get in politics saying that David Eby never cut any jobs in his government, but he wanted BC residents to go on the hooks and taxpayers for his lavish spending. Well, Carney did. This will tell you David Eby was trying to get all the money he can get out because he knows he's in turmoil. And this is what the BC Conservatives and One BC should be demanding on David Eby. Before you pass a budget, you start doing in-house cleaning and cuts, and he couldn't do it. And they need to come down on it. But what we need to do here in Abbotsford is make sure that our farmers are going to get first priority over everybody. And we're going to come in and we're going to make sure that happens. Out of $500 million in the city bank accounts, we're going to try to build a massive these infrastructures and homes, and we haven't fixed the sewer upgrades or nothing. We got old Ron Funk, he's on a wild roll. Funkstermeister just was rolling. Nobody can stop the Funkstermeister, let me tell you, as Commander-in-Chief. Ron Funks will be the first property that I go after in the Supreme Court to Caesar because it was inside trading and he knew what he was doing when he was running council and changed the zoning. And we're going to do this. But the problem is this. How much hold, and I have showed you that they had on the Abbotsford police, was unbelievable. On a local police department. And this is why these people shot for this police department. Enough to cover up attempted murder in broad daylight. Enough to get the police to come out under uniform to threaten. I want to be able to stand on a world stage to say that I represent my community, families, and everybody that are supposed to be pushed down, and the elites were running this town. Pierre Poilievre said it the best. The M&Ms, the Mennonite mob, took over Abbotsford. So I would ask Kelly Greene, before you get there and start doing more pleading and begging, say, David Eby, did you see what Mr. Pelican said about the budget and everything? Well, Mr. Pelican wouldn't have mentioned that. With my politicians and former premiers that I know and everybody, if Kelly Greene wouldn't be begging for this money and would get her two legs out and start using them eyes and look at these ditches, look at the choke points, look at these berries that have been wiped out, and say my first priority to get David Eby re-elected is to get these farmers that money. And Abbotsford, like Carney realized, has got $500 million in the coffers, $500 million just donated to move that testing lab, that ag lab. Why are we going to move it? We're going to free up that land. That's the next parcel for Henry. Abbotsford residents. Oh, and we must say today again, the Mission RCMP. Without their help, none of this would be public knowledge. None of this would be on the world stage. I stand every day in the World Olympic coat to show you that everybody came together in the Olympics, in the 2010 Olympics. And I'll stand here every day to show you what these politicians were doing, and you could see the distance by yourself. Abbotsford is working so strong, and let me tell you, the RCMP said stay with it. Let me tell you why. They knew eventually that residents that work in local offices and establishments will turn on what they were doing. And that's how I found Simon Gibson and everybody, their own secretaries and everything. Found Colin Watts crawling into Soup Man begging, oh please Suki, Colin's doing a good job with Paul Wanker. Really, really. Not one time can he look the residents in their face and charges. I can't charge the millionaire. Oh, the millionaire, look what he did. He built me a new police building. Look at us, we're officers. Oh, you got to be some respect. You got to earn that respect, and you got to start hitting the grounds. This is why Dallas Brody, a 1BC's climbing. She's earning that respect, and people are starting to realize it, and you can look at her shares and her views. That's earning respect, and she's resignating. And that's what politicians hate, because she pulls the voters in. Abbotsford needs and must have the RCMP. And I would ask the BC Conservatives, when the ledge is opening, ask David Eby straight to all BC residents that this man wants to run this province and didn't cut any jobs. And the prime example, Carney did. And he wants to have this big budget and everything else. Maybe he got lessoned and taught by the mayor of Abbotsford, Henry Braun, how to do it all. Abbotsford is going after the city books. And that is why I'm running for Commander-in-Chief, to open the city books. Finding all them jobs that were not tendered, went to preferential treatment, Abbotsford first, ran and passed through. That even will not even allow Les Barkman to escape out of there, knowing that what his elective duty was. And it won't even allow Dave Lowens, the lackey that had no juice, to run. I'm live, Kelly Greene. Abbotsford's Farmers Flats here at the U.S.-Canadian border. And your government passed the budget and didn't cut jobs. Your government went and pulled alcohol off of the Americans on Canadian shelves. But your government allowed sand to be stolen out of Barrowtown, gravel to be stolen in, trucked in, hauled out, and all this, and couldn't protect our farmers and say, put that gravel down at the U.S. border and protect it. Couldn't do it. That means that there is exactly what Darren Braun showed. Them connections are going to go into David Eby's office because we already found them in Pam. You got to get out of these MLAs and MPs' office and start running it for your community and residents. And that's what's going to be done here in Abbotsford, British Columbia. I'm live.